And right now, a story you'll only hear this morning on 13 News Today. Over the past month, we brought you reports of multiple fires across Rockford, particularly in vacant homes. Fire officials now telling us they're now all being investigated as arson. Take a look at your screen right now. 13 WREX was on scene at these fires over the last month. You can see the damage they caused at these different properties. This morning, we're learning more about these fires and a possible connection they may share. Take a look at this map on your screen. 7 fires reported over the last month, all in vacant buildings, and the majority happening here within the vicinity of each other. 2 fires happening days apart at the same property on Buckby Street. Now, the question we're asking ourselves is what or who's been starting these, and what should residents do to stay safe? Our 13 WREX Dylan Valencia joins us where one of these fires took place on Main Street just last week. Dylan, officials sounding the alarm on these vacant home fires. What are they warning residents they should do?
Yeah, Manny, that's right. Well, I actually responded to cover this fire here on Main Street just last week. Now, I want to give you just a better idea of the damage that it has. I am here on a hill, all this damage that was caused just last week. But as you can see, it also caused a lot of damage to the home right next to it. Now, that home does have people who live there. I actually tried to speak to them on this topic yesterday. They did not want to speak to us on the topic, but it just goes to show exactly what is going on with these vacant homes. Now, this home was not connected to gas or electricity, and as you just mentioned, it's not the only home. I want you guys to take a look at this map again that we showed you earlier. There is this cluster here on Kishwaukee, 15th Avenue, and Main Street, where several of these fires have been popping up over the last few weeks. Now, officials are saying that it could be homeless people who are attempting to cook, or also criminal activity. I spoke to them and they said exactly what residents should know.
Anytime there is a rash of fires with some similarities, it does pique our interest as a division of fire prevention, as a fire department, as a community as a whole. The concern that we have is whether these fires are actually related or just generally related, and that they're all vacant. It does speak to a danger in the community.
7 fires, all happening within a month. 5 of those 7 in the last 2 weeks. Rockford Fire shares a warning to residents.
Even if you don't live in these vacant structures, there's a good chance that your building can be damaged as well. So the more we can be on these vacant structures, if someone is setting fires, catching them obviously prevents them from setting more fires. But the other thing is, if you stop people from going in there, from trespassing on these buildings, it again prevents these fires from happening in the first place.
All of these fires are still under investigation and are currently being investigated as arson. Not only can nearby properties be damaged, but these already compromised vacant properties pose even greater risk to first responders.
When our firefighters are crawling through those buildings under smoke conditions or fire conditions, they can't see that. And it does create a pretty big hazard for our firefighters.
The city of Rockford attempting to remediate the issue with these vacant properties by tearing them down or providing an avenue for them to be redeveloped.
Whether it's tall grass or any indicator of a property being vacant, you haven't seen a car park in the driveway for 2 months, those types of things. Because again, we have the best chance of success if we can intervene very early in a vacancy process.
Rockford Fire sharing tips to keep you and first responders safe.
So if you see someone trespassing into these houses, which is what they're doing, if it's boarded up, call the police. That way we can prevent the opportunity for these fires to be set before it happens.
Now, all of these fires are still being investigated at this time, but here's some simple tips to help you guys. Now, there's actually roughly 5,000 properties in Rockford that are vacant. That includes both commercial and residential. Some tips for you is if you see a home that has a broken window that hasn't been taken care of, or tall grass like you just mentioned, an overflow of mail, report it on the city's website. Even if you aren't sure if it is vacant or not, that can really help eliminate criminal activity and some of these fires that could be damaging to you and even risk others' lives. For now in Rockford, I'm Dylan Valencia with 13 WREX.